Captivators, to our Thursday training today. I am so excited to be here with all of you today. If you are watching live, hello. Give me a yes, give me a hi, give me a what's up in the comments. Let me know that you're here. I love seeing who's on so I can say hello. If you are watching the replay, you can also just put #replay. All right, friends, so today we are talking about the 6 ways that you can start to communicate like an expert. Drop me one way that an expert communicator talks. So I asked this question in the group on Tuesday, what makes an expert communicator? I want to see your responses in the comments, even though some of you who answered on Tuesday gave me some really amazing things. You wrote likability, they listen, they cater their talk towards the listeners. These are all amazing. I know some of you have been in this space for a while, so I see that you're picking up what I'm putting down, and you all have so much amazing expertise to offer. So drop it in the comments. What is one thing that an expert communicator must have? When you watch somebody who is an expert communicator or an authority in their field, what is it that draws you to them? Right, so while you are popping in there, because I know there's a delay, let me introduce myself for those of you who are new to our community. I know we've had a few new members jump in this week. My name is Emanuela Hall. I am a holistic speaking and presence coach, an actor, a movement instructor, and the CEO of Creative Wellness. I help to empower coaches to tell their stories and become captivating speakers online and on stage. We do this training every Thursday. We also do free coaching here in the group, Q&As. I bring in expert speakers. If you want to be one of them, let me know. All right, so I am excited. Please also, if you are interested, with your permission at the end, I am going to be making an offer to you today. So if you want to know about that, if you want to know ways you can work with me, please stick around to the end and you can hear all about that. So today, here are the 6 ways. I hope that this is working. I am going to just check really quickly because sometimes I don't want you guys to not be hearing me. That has happened before. Okay, yay, it's working. All right, glad. Maybe I'll just see the comments later. Okay, so number 1, and you know me, you know that I am all about the body. That's why I am a holistic speaking coach. So number 1, you may not be surprised to hear, it is to stand with a tall spine. What? Okay, hear me out. You don't see a lot of talkers in those TED Talks. Oh, got lots of shadow action happening today. You know, walk on stage like this. Now, you might think, well, that's just my back, that's my body. Listen, you don't have to have perfect posture, and I certainly don't want you doing anything like this because that's just going to restrict you. But if you can ground your feet and think of a string at the crown of your head pulling you up, and then just drop your shoulders down, right? You don't need to pull them back or do anything like I'm a drill sergeant and this is really awkward. I want you to feel comfortable, but a tall spine is going to do 2 things. 1, it is going to make you appear confident, right? And I talk about this a lot. Sometimes you have to put on the armor and then you can start to embody it from within. But sometimes in the beginning, it helps to like put on the armor, right? So you're going to appear very tall, very confident. Body language is very important. And 2, it's actually going to help your voice because your lungs won't be constricted. And we know that our lungs and our diaphragm play a huge role when it comes to our voice. So if you're talking with a constricted chest, you're not going to get in as much air and your voice is not going to be supported. Oh, my microphone is falling. I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay, so tall spine, big open chest, taking those big breaths. That actually leads me to number 2, which you know is my favorite, deep diaphragmatic breathing. Now, you might think, I have never watched an expert communicator and really paid attention to the way that they are breathing. But let me tell you, if you have ever watched a speaker who maybe makes you feel a little bit anxious, maybe you can sense their nerves as they're talking. Many times the speaker has not worked on their breath to support their voice. So when you're using very shallow breaths to speak, because maybe you're nervous or anxious, or you just aren't noticing that you're speaking that way, it can feel very anxious for the listener, uncomfortable. So what having great breath work when you speak does for you is it gives you a bit more of a grounded presence. This is why I do 90% of my lives standing on my feet, because I know that's just better for my voice. And then, when we're out on those stages, it already feels natural to be standing and being seen and being vulnerable. So breathwork is going to help you appear grounded and calm. It's also going to, ding, 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 support your voice. The very first thing I work on with clients is getting into your body and practicing that diaphragmatic breathing, and then we work on vocal technique. And you may think, well, I'm sure there's a lot of speakers out there who have not worked on this. Correct. A lot of times people are naturally great speakers. And they have this. Perhaps they have this because they've worked on their body in yoga or different types, Reiki, different types of modalities. So when they go to speak, they've already mastered that kind of subconsciously. Okay? So an expert communicator stands with a tall spine and they are engaging their breath. They're using diaphragmatic, low, deep breaths. Their breathing is not shallow and it's not labored. And number 3, somebody wrote this and I was like, yes, amen. A great expert speaker is a listener. A listener. And if you are doing like I'm doing lately and you're mostly talking in a live video and sometimes those comments aren't coming through in real time, how do you listen then? You listen by asking your audience questions. And in a live talk, that's also what you do. If you are a CEO or you're a manager at a company, you're going to ask your employees questions. You're going to ask your students questions. Because all of that listening is going to then fuel your talk, fuel your content. If we're just putting things out there and talking at people, it's not going to land. And I've learned this even in personal life. I love talking. Y'all know me. Oh, Meg is on. Meg knows that I love to talk. And sometimes I think later, I need to. So I am really working on this one. Not thinking ahead of what I need to say, but really taking in what I'm hearing. Number 4, I did a little mini post about this yesterday here in the group, so you can go and look at that if you're more of a listener or a reader. Hey, Kylie! Number 4 is less is more, my friends. Less is more. Less hands. Less moving around. This is like in live talking. And I know nobody does like a cha-cha when they're speaking, maybe just me. But this is why we start with the tall spine and the planted feet, because that really gives us that grounded energy. And then less words. I'm not saying you have to be super consciously aware of every single word you're saying. But one way to have less words is to have an outline and an objective of what you're going to say so you don't start going off track. Stories are awesome, but also just notice when you're adding a lot of extra words. I have started using this in my newsletter writing and content writing. I usually write it all out, get it all out on paper, and then I go back and I notice, do I need that so? Do I need that like? We know we live in a very, very immediate world. So if you can just cut to the chase, people will appreciate that without rushing. So I'm not saying speed through it. I'm saying use less words so that you can take a great pace that doesn't feel slow, but doesn't feel like you're babbling on and on. I hope this is making sense. Drop a comment. If it is, say yes. If you're like, I need some clarification on that, let me know as well. Okay, number 5 kind of ties in with number 3, but be curious. Ask questions. And you've heard me say this before. When you ask questions, when you're curious, it now becomes about them. When I did work a 9-to-5 job, my CEO at the company I worked for was all about community with her team. We actually were all called coaches. We weren't called managers because she really wanted us to all be empowered. And at every meeting, she wouldn't say, this is what we're doing. She would say, what do you guys think we should do? So be curious about what your audience needs, whoever that audience is, and stay curious and then listen. We are flying today, babes. Let's review and then I'll give you the last one. So tall spine, breath work, listen, less is more. Let me know if you agree with that one. Less is more. It's getting people tripped up a bit. And then be curious. And finally, you know that I do this here. Don't take yourself so seriously. Oh, everyone is so worried about making a mistake when they speak. I did a live in another group Tuesday. And my whole live, there was no sound. This is why I'm on my phone, because I'm just done with my computer issues. So there was no sound and I had to do the whole thing over again. And here I am talking about speaking with confidence and my whole live is silent. No one expects perfection anymore. This is like COVID world 2020. We understand that these things happen. Our dog might bark. Our kids might storm into the room. We may have no sound. Don't take yourself so seriously. I think people want real people who are going to laugh at themselves, who are going to share pieces of themselves that might be a little bit vulnerable and might be a little bit less perfect, because that makes you relatable. And I think Dawn wrote likable. I don't know about you guys, but when I see someone on Pinterest or LinkedIn who's like got every picture perfect post and quote or photo, I'm like, is that real life? You're a mom of 4 and your house just looks way too perfect. Did you do that yourself? I mean, I'm sure there are those people, but sometimes it's nice, it's inspiring, but it's also nice to see people who don't have it all together and who are laughing about it and who are having a good time about it. And I think a really strong leader, a really great expert, is somebody who can humble themselves, be vulnerable, and say, yeah, folks, I'm not perfect. And here's a funny time when I really messed up. And also, life is just better when you can laugh. Okay, so don't take yourself too seriously. We're all here to have a good time. I don't know about you, but this is why I'm doing what I do, because I want to love my life. I want to wake up and be like, yes, I get to work today. It's going to be fun. I might mess up along the way. I might make a total fool of myself, but I know I'm going to be okay. Let me see the comments. Kylie, thank you for being here. Having ADD notes and outlines and scripts for lives are a must. Yes. Same. Give up perfection. Yeah. Yes. And I've seen you do that so amazingly lately. I'm like, oh, she's crushing it. It's so good when we just drop that perfection. And I've talked about this before. I have the perfectionist tendency in me. Doing years of Russian ballet and piano, it was like, you can't mess it up. You have to do it exactly right. And it took a lot of the joy out of being creative for me, even out of dancing, because I didn't know how to do it for fun and make it fun. So I'm done with that. And I want us to all change the next generation. I'm not saying we can't work hard and we can't put out really amazing on point content and value for people, of course, but let's enjoy the process and the mess ups are going to make it better. Okay, so those are my 6 ways for you to start. They're really simple. You can implement them right now. You can just be like, how is my spine? How is my breathing? And take a minute before you hit record, before you step out on stage, to ground yourself and breathe. Because then it'll feel easier to take those pauses, to listen, to be curious. You won't have to add all the fluff because your nerves will be a little bit more under wraps. I hope that this was helpful. I would love to know your biggest takeaway. Which one of those 6 are you going to start implementing? Which one was a big aha for you? Again, if you're watching the replay, just pop it in there as well, #replay. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I would love to let you know I have a special offer for you. I believe, Kylie, you are here. Give me your permission. I'm going to let you know. So I have a gig crusher. Okay, so this is a 4-week program. It is just 4 weeks, so it's very rough and dirty. We get 2 60-minute sessions together. You have me on Voxer for 30 days. I give you weekly video feedback, and we're in communication that whole time. So you can pick when you want those 2 60-minute sessions. But this is really for people who have maybe a masterclass coming up, or a webinar, or a live talk coming up that you want some immediate feedback on. So if you have something coming up that you really want to crush, the Gig Crusher is a great one for you. If you want to go even deeper, then of course we have my 3-month Inspire program where we go through body, breath work, voice technique, connecting with your audience, speaking with grit, organizing your video content, giving you feedback on your videos, helping you with your script, helping you with your message and story. I know I'm just like throwing it all at you, but this way you know. So if you want to explore either of those options, please, please, please book a voice consult. I've only got 2 left for this week. I opened up 5 at the beginning, so I've got 2 left because it's Thursday now. If you want one of those, just drop call in the comments and we can set something up. We'll just have a chat and see if one of those programs might be helpful for you. Our group program is starting again in the new year. I'm so excited to start it again. We are, the first round was amazing. So if you want to be on the wait list for that, also let me know. But if you want some personal support now and you don't want to wait till 2022, hit me up. Thank you for being here, my friends. I love you all. Have a great day.